What's up, guys? So I wanted to talk to you about something that I didn't really think I'd make a video on. I just bought it for fun, but it's a really cool thing I bought. It's the Boosted REV. So I've been watching like Casey Neistat videos and all these other videos where people bought the boosted skateboards and they looked absolutely amazing. I wanted one so bad, except for one little problem. I can't ride a skateboard, like, at all. I stand on it and the board goes and my feet go with it. The rest of my body stays in place. I'm super excited for it. I went and looked at the price. And, well, they're not cheap. So there's that. They're not cheap. But I'm lucky enough I could afford one. By the way, that's a trigger word for me. I'm not lucky enough. I worked hard enough. It's a mindset thing I'm working on, which is part of like what you're going to see more on my channel. Like, there's trigger words you use, right? That your subconscious is listening. One of mine is lucky enough, lucky enough, lucky enough. It's a word I use because I think it will help people I'm talking to understand, but what I'm really understanding is it's making me think that I'm just lucky and it's not my hard work, dedication, drive, all those things that make me me. As far as it being a commuter vehicle for me, I don't commute. And when I do go to work, it's a long enough distance I could probably make it with this scooter because, wow, the distance, like if you put it in not the crazy fast mode, the distance you can get out of it, they say is up to 20, like you could go up to 22 miles. That's probably in the slowest mode, but you can make it 22 miles. I only work like my office is like 6 miles away. I could totally make it. I could probably make it, maybe not, probably not in the fastest mode, which everyone says it's like the Tesla of scooters, which I totally agree with. There's just a straight up commuter Tesla would be like mode 1 on this. There's the performance Tesla, which is probably like mode 2, and then there's the ludicrous mode, and that's like 3. I've got it up to 26 miles an hour. Could totally go faster. It actually holds itself there, which is actually probably good because I'm the kind of guy who would probably push it as fast as it could go. I have no doubt for a short amount of time the battery could handle it. It could probably go 40 miles an hour, no problem. It's very wide tires. They're really big around. They're rubber. They're not like a hard plastic. They feel more like a bike tire. They're shaped a little bit like a sport bike tire, so you can really get the roll to them. And when you get the hang of it, you can really corner pretty fast. The deck is actually amazing in my opinion because I have size 13 shoes and I fit on it, which never happens with any of the other scooters. I actually get a sore back from riding on them because I have to place my feet awkwardly to make it work for my giant feet. It's actually big enough that I will let my girls be on it in front of me and then give them rides. I've actually taken them to school on it, gone to school to pick them up with their little scooters, and we take turns riding on mine. It's a really fun time. The The gauge on it shows you the rough estimate on battery time, so you're not going to magically get caught off guard and have a dead battery. It's got a speedometer. You double press the one button it has, and it turns on the lights. So it's got a headlight and a tail light. It has brake lights. The brakes, you can brake 3 separate ways. It really depends on the severity of how fast you need to stop. There's the rear foot, like you stomp on it, it pushes down onto the back tire. I think that's just like a final straw, I gotta stop type of brake. I don't think you would ever really just consistently push that one. It's got the handbrake, which is pretty common for all of them, which is probably the quickest way to stop. Like a Tesla, you could set the mode where you let off the gas and it does the regenerative braking. So it does that. It's got the little wheel that you could spin to the plus, which is forward. To go, you spin it back to the minus. It will actually use the motors. There's 2 motors. Each wheel has its own motor. So, of course, me being me, I immediately do burnouts on it. Which, it's fun. I'm sure that I'm going to burn through the front tire because it's the easiest one to do burnouts on. Haven't perfected the 2-wheel burnout yet, but I'm working on it, and then when I do, I will share with you that I did it. But the handbrake, obviously, you can skid like you would as a kid on a bike or something because you can basically pull all the weight off by putting your foot down and skid. I do that constantly. My driveway has skid marks all over it because I'm a giant 12-year-old. Spin the dial to the minus, it will slow you down. Like you could go up to a stop sign lightly pressing your brakes like you would in a car. So there's an actual really good amount of variety to how you brake. And I've looked at the reviews on YouTube before I did this just to see what they were saying. There's quite a few. The problem I have with those, they all got like the demos because they're bigger name people, or they'd only ridden them once. I waited and I've ridden this thing so much. Super quiet compared to anything else. The other reviews, I haven't ever ridden a boosted board for reasons I already went over. I don't know. They say they're quieter than even the skateboards, which is really cool. I think it's probably to do with the tires as opposed to skateboard wheels, which are a lot noisier, and the bearings and that whole setup. It's got a disc brake, by the way, for the brakes, so those are even quiet how it brakes. It's not like squeezing on the rim of the tire, like doing those high-pitched squeals. It's a disc brake, more a car like where the pads just squeeze on a disc that's made for it, and it's actually super quiet with all of that. There's one button on the whole thing to turn it on and off. You push and hold it to turn it on. You push it twice to turn the lights on. You push it 3 times to switch between the ride modes, or all of that can be handled through the app. So a downside is it's pretty heavy. So the portability isn't what you would think for a boosted skateboard. It doesn't get super small. The handlebars flip down, that's it. I mean, they lock in place so you can carry it by that. But really, I think mostly what they're going for is you can pick it up, put it in a trunk, or if you work in an office building you rode it to, or anywhere, honestly, that you rode it to, you could fold it up, take it inside, put it under a desk or something like that, and totally not be in the way of the work area to where it's not a big deal and you wouldn't have to worry about locking it up at the bike rack. That being said, if you did have to lock it up at a rack, it's really sturdy, all metal design for the frame. Means there's quite a few points you could actually lock it to, and the reason they'd be able to steal it wouldn't be the scooter's problem, it would be the lock you placed on it. Like if they cut the lock or whatever, then they'd be able to steal it. I wish and hope at some point they put a lock feature on it where you're not able to turn it on unless you unlock it from the app. You'd have to lock it from the app, unlock it from the app. That way, if you didn't use the Bluetooth connected app, it wouldn't affect you either way. But I wish they'd put that on there because I would use it constantly. I'd still lock it up so people didn't pick it up and carry it. But just like those other rental scooters, you know, you could have a siren or something like that. I don't think they need to go that far. Second, it's got like a skid plate on the bottom. I've already broke part of mine, but they don't offer that part yet, as far as I can find, on their website, or new tires. So if I mess a tire up, I kind of don't know what I would do for a new one. There is zero suspension on this thing too. So I've hit a couple of bumps or manhole covers or something. You feel it. Now, I don't think that's a make or break problem. I've seen some other scooters that have suspension and they look nice. I'm not going to say it doesn't, but it's also a scooter. I don't expect suspension on a scooter. The high speeds make it a little more jarring of a hit, but as long as you're not locking your knees when you're standing on it and you have a slight bend to them, your knees sort of just absorb it naturally. So if you have sore knees or something, maybe it would be a bigger deal. For me, I don't have any issues like that. So it was more unexpected jarring that gets me. And then when you go fast, the rattling from the roads on my hands, because I've only ridden it on just random normal roads in the bike lane. So I don't know if you got on a nicer path or we're in a city more built for commuting than where I live, it might not be an issue at all. So that being said, with the weight and it doesn't fold up very small, the folding design is super fast and easy. Folding it up truly, I think, would take two hands to do it competently without the fear of it falling down on your head or something like that. But it locks into place. Unfolding it, you can do with one hand and one foot. You might be able to fold it up the same way, but like you can do, it locks into place with the rear brake. You can push down on that, lift up with one arm, lock it into place, use your foot to lock it. It's super easy compared to what some of the other ones I've seen are. The handlebars, I'm 6'5". They're tall enough for me. I could see it being a problem if you were shorter. Maybe they were a little too high and they're not adjustable. But I feel like, personally, I would raise them up a little bit if I had the option. I don't usually expect that just because I'm way taller than most people. So it's just something you get used to. I'm sure if you're short, you're used to the same thing in the opposite direction. And that's just the way it is. So the distance, I said, it's a long distance. The battery charges super fast. It fully charges in about 3 hours. So you could totally drain it on your way to work. Generally speaking, most people work at least 3 hours. You could totally charge it and ride it home. You should definitely wear a helmet. Don't be like me. I don't wear a helmet. I should. I just don't have one that I like, so I don't wear one, which is the silliest reason ever. My girls always wear a helmet on it. They constantly tell me I should wear a helmet, and I should. So wear a helmet, especially if you're in the fastest mode, because when you're on a scooter like that and you feel every bump, it usually holds you about 24, 25 miles an hour, and that feels really fast when you feel all the bumps. Each level of ride is slower, so as you go 2 and 1, they're obviously slower, extend the distance. Hills and stuff will affect it as well. I weigh like 215 pounds, so I'm a heavy guy, so it's obviously not going to go as far for me as it would for someone else who's lighter, but overall, I actually have tried to ride it to work, and my wife's talked me out of it because the road I take to work isn't necessarily the safest driving road for people, and she thinks I wouldn't be safe in the bike lane. I'm gonna ride it to work anyway. What does she know? She's only got my best interest at heart. Logging into the app now. I've downloaded it while we're talking. It's super fun. I would totally use it as a commuter if I lived in a town that was closer together, more condensed, and I could commute easily to and from work. Or if I had to, I would do it now. I just don't have to. So I don't. But it definitely would easily be something I would rely on daily. It says waterproof, but they don't mean like ride it in super heavy rain. I think they mean more like if you hit a puddle or something, it's not going to short it out. It's more like an iPhone. It's water resistant, not waterproof. I know that because I broke my iPhone trying to prove someone it was waterproof. It's not. Went into the store and they're like, it's just resistant. It should not get wet. You should treat it like it's not water resistant, and then you'll be fine. So, my bad. I'm used to Samsungs. Live and learn. It was my fault. All right, we got to go down so I can pair it. Apparently, you don't get to see any of your stats unless you're connected. So let's go. That battery charge, range, because I'm in that mode, I'll only get about 8 miles. Because I'm in mode 3, I have 141 miles. So you can easily change here, gives you the stats for each one. I've referred it to a couple of friends. I'm not sure if they're gonna buy it, maybe one day, but it's really fun. I could see us just cruising around having a good time without wasting gas. And check it out, let me know what you think. Hit the subscribe button, it's free, doesn't cost you anything, and it helps me out for no more than my fragile ego, if anything. So let me know what you think in the comments. If there's anything else you would like to know about it, let me know, because I kind of threw this together quickly, and I'm sure I missed something that's super important. Subscribe, share. See you next time.